Blessed day, classmates, our instructor, Miss Danica Rosie Laden, and viewers. I am Jean-Ari Marie Takata from BS Accountancy 2, and this is my report in continuation of Miss Gassi's report in Intellectual Revolutions and Society in our subject Science, Technology, and Society. And all ears and eyes on me because we will go down the history. Today we'll be talking about one of the most revolutionary concepts in psychology, the Freudian Revolution. Psychology was considered more of an art rather than a science. In the 19th century, Sigmund Freud was able to change people's perspective of psychology with his revolutionary theory of psychoanalysis. Before Freud, psychology was more of a philosophical discussion rather than a science. But with the theory of psychoanalysis, Freud changed how we understand human behavior, emotions, and even our hidden desires. Psychoanalysis is a study of human behavior, a scientific method of understanding inner and unconscious conflicts, embedded within one's personality, ranging from free associations, dreams, and fantasies of the individual. Psychoanalysis is a type of therapy that helps people understand and change how their past experiences influence their current lives. It is based on the idea that unconscious thoughts and feelings can impact a person's mood, behavior, and relationships. Freud explained that there are many conscious and unconscious factors that can influence behavior and emotion. He also argued that personality is a product of three conflicting elements: the id, ego, and the superego. Many believe that Freud's theory had no scientific basis, as no empirical or experimental data could support it. But still, Freud continued his work. Soon enough, people were able to understand the concept of psychoanalysis, which eventually resulted in classifying psychology as a science. One of his greatest contributions was the concept of id, ego, and superego that explains how our personality and traits are being shaped. To better understand Freud's theory, let's use a scenario. Let's look closely to the presentation or the illustration of this three presented. Let's say you are a student walking by the canteen. Biglang naamoy mo ang bagong lutong burger at sobrang gutom ka na. Your id says, kuha na, hindi naman nila mapapansin. You deserve it. You're hungry. You need it to eat. The id is all about pleasure. Walang pakialam sa consequences, basta masatisfy ang desires. Your superego will say, no, that's stealing, and it's wrong. You'll get caught and get punished. The superego is like your moral compass, shaped by society, religion, and upbringing. Ito ang bahagi ng ating isipan na hinubog ng ating mga magulang, guro at lipunan upang sundin ang tamang asal at etikal na pamantayan. Then here comes our ego, acting as the rational middle ground na mamagitan sa id and superego. Sasabihin niya, you want it? Okay, gutom ka, pero kailangan mong gawin ito sa tamang paraan. Bumili ka na lang ng pagkain gamit ang pera mo. It balances what you want and what is right, helping you make logical decisions. This internal conflict between the id, ego, and the superego happens every single day. Whether it's deciding between eating healthy or indulging in fast food, studying or watching Netflix, or telling the truth versus telling the lies. Aside from the impact of Freud's work, the Mesoamerican civilizations like the Maya, Inca, and Aztec also contributed scientific and technological advancements that shaped the world. And at this point, bibigyan din natin ang kanilang impluensya sa pananampalataya at siyensya. The Mesoamerica has contributed a lot of ideas or discoveries for archaeology. The temples and pyramids left a lot of architecture, and that leads us to study more of it. The Maya civilization developed a complex astronomical calendar that allowed them to track celestial movements, predict eclipses, and determine the best time for planting and harvesting crops. Their accuracy in astronomy was so advanced that their calendar was more precise than the one that we use today. The Maya civilization's hydraulic system was a complex network of dams, canals, reservoirs, and other structures that enabled them to manage water in their region. The Maya built this system to survive in a region with droughts and floods, and to support their growing population. The ancient Mayans used mica to decorate their temples and make their buildings sparkle in the sun. Mica is a shiny, glittery mineral that's still used in paints today. The Incas, despite lacking the wheel or modern tools, built earthquake-resistant stone structures. Their roads and bridges were so well constructed that some of them still exist today. There are a lot of remarkable contributions that Incas has contributed, but the one that we are highlighting is the quipu. Quipus were knotted cords used by the Incas to record information and communicate. The word quipu comes from the Quechua word for knot. The Aztecs put value on education. That is why their children are mandated to get education regardless of their social class, gender, or age. It is an early form of universal or inclusive education. The Aztecs had compulsory education for all children, and those who did well could go on to higher education. The Aztecs were a highly literate society that maintained extensive records in their history, religious practices, accounting, and governance, as well as beautiful poetry and philosophical narratives. The Aztec in Mexico developed chocolate during their time. In Mayan culture, they used it as a currency. The Aztec valued cacao beans highly and made it as part of their tribute to their gods. Chocolate was a sacred drink and a key part of Aztec culture. The Aztecs called it suculatil, which may mean bitter water. They believed it was a gift from the god Quetzalcoatl, and they drank it as a refreshing beverage, an aphrodisiac, and even to prepare for war. The Aztecs practiced advanced medicine. They used a type of antispasmodic medicine that could prevent muscle spasms and relax muscles, which may have been helpful during surgery. The passion flower was used for this purpose, a flower which is still seen in Mexico today. Passion flower is still used today as an herbal remedy for insomnia, high blood pressure, and epilepsy. Chinampa, however, is a form of Aztec technology for agricultural farming in which the land was divided into rectangular areas and surrounded by canals. The Chinampa is an artificial agricultural island built up with rafts, mud, and soils in order to support farming. The cultivation system that is built in areas where water is the main natural resource present in the environment. This aquifer surface is called wetland. They are built in order to grow plants and vegetables for self-consumption and local market. The central figure of the Aztec calendar has been largely interpreted as the Aztec sun god. The calendar also contains a ring with symbols representing each of the 20 named days in a month. The Aztec sunstone or calendar stone depicts the 5 consecutive worlds of the sun from Aztec mythology. The stone is not, therefore, in any sense a functioning calendar, but rather it is an elaborately carved solar disk, which for the Aztecs and other Mesoamerican cultures represented rulership. Aztecs' use of calendar enabled them to plan their activities, rituals, and planting season. The Aztecs didn't invent the canoe, but they used them for transportation, farming, and warfare. Canoes were used to transport people and goods across the water, especially to and from the floating gardens called chinampas. The revolution itself taught Asian countries about freedom and independent nationhood, along the improvement brought by it internally. Asian civilizations, particularly ancient China, made significant contributions to the development of technology through inventions like papermaking, printing with movable type, gunpowder, the compass, and advanced agricultural techniques, which had a profound impact on global society by facilitating knowledge dissemination, warfare, navigation, and food production. Furthermore, I will discuss to you the contributions of some countries in Asia. India is a huge peninsula surrounded by vast bodies of waters and fortified by huge mountains in the northern borders. They are known for manufacturing iron and in metallurgical works. Their iron steel is considered to be the best and held with high regard in the Roman Empire. They are also famous in medicine. Ayurveda is a system of traditional medicine that originated in India before 2500 BC and is still practiced as a form of alternative medicine. Ayurveda or Ayurvedic medicine is a system of traditional medicine native to India, which uses a range of treatments including panchakarma or five actions, which is the yoga, massage, acupuncture, and herbal medicine to encourage health and well-being. It is based on the idea that the body, mind, and spirit are connected. Ayurveda aims to promote health, prevent disease, and treat illness. In addition to their contributions in medicine, Sushruta Samhita is best known in non-specialist sources on medical history for its approach and discussions of surgery. It is amongst the first medical treatises in history to suggest that a student of surgery should learn about human body and its organs by systematically examining a dead body. Isang halimbawa nito ay ang kanilang kaalaman sa plastic surgery na ginamit sa muling pagbuo ng mga napinsaling bahagi ng katawan. When discussing theories of configuration in the context of India, it primarily refers to the analysis of how different social, political, and economic factors in India interact and combine to create unique patterns and outcomes, often utilizing a configurational theory approach which emphasizes the interplay between multiple variables rather than single, isolated causes. This can include examining how historical events, geographical features, caste systems, and political structures contribute to the current Indian landscape. Imagine, you're standing outside at night, observing the stars. If you notice that some stars seem to change position over time, that is because of the Earth's rotation and revolution. Ancient Indian scholars, such as Aryabhata, were among the first to explain this movement mathematically. They developed a model of the Earth as a sphere, contradicting the earlier belief that it was flat. A calculation that estimated the Earth's circumference with remarkable accuracy. The idea that the Earth rotates on its axis explaining why you experience day and night. This knowledge contributed to the way we navigate, predict eclipses, and understand planetary movements today. China is one of the most ancient civilizations with substantial contributions in many areas of life like medicine, astronomy, science, mathematics, arts, philosophy, and music. Acupuncture is an ancient Chinese medical technique that involves inserting needles into specific points of the body. It originated in China and is a component of traditional Chinese medicine. The traditional Chinese medicine believes that the body's vital energy, called qi, flows along specific channels or meridians. Middle East is a product of development and growth of individual nationalism, imperialism for the efforts of westernized and modernized Middle Eastern societies and to push the declining power of the Ottoman Empire in the Arab region. Ibn al-Haytham, a Muslim scientist, is regarded as the father of optics, especially for his empirical proof of the intromission theory of light. Ibn al-Haytham is known for the earliest use of the camera obscura and pinhole camera. He contradicted Ptolemy's and Euclid's theory of vision that objects are seen by rays of light emanating from the eyes. According to him, the rays originate in the object of vision and not in the eye. Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi, a mathematician who gave his name to the concept of the algorithm, while the term algebra is derived from algebra, the beginning of the title of one of his publications. Major accomplishments were the books he wrote in mathematics and science. His mathematical books introduced the ideas of algebra and Indo-Arabic numerals to Western mathematicians during the Middle Ages. Algebra is a branch of math that uses variables to describe relationships between quantities that change. It's a more abstract way of doing math than arithmetic, which focuses on scientific numbers. His scientific works concern geography and astronomy. Egypt was known to be a center of alchemy, which was known as the medieval forerunner of chemistry. Astronomy was also famous in African region. For instance, documents show that Africans used three types of calendar: the solar, the lunar, and the stellar, or a combination of three. Astronomy was a key part of many ancient African cultures, and their discoveries influenced their calendars, art, and social practices. The African calendars were based on a star or celestial maps containing solar arcs known as zodiacs. The celestial maps show that the universe is a living organism consisting of parts that are interconnected, interrelated, and interdependent. We have the lunar calendars, which are based solely on the phases of the moon, with months aligning with lunar cycles, resulting in shorter years compared to solar calendars and potentially drifting through seasons over time. While the solar calendars are aligned with the Earth's orbit around the Sun, providing a more consistent tracking of seasons throughout the year. The stellar calendars attempts to combine the lunar and solar cycles by adding intercalary days or months to keep the calendar aligned with both the moon phases and the solar year. Information age is an era which technology has been prevalent. It is also known as computer age that has brought so much change in how we are living today. The current historical period in which information is easily accessible and widely shared, especially through the use of computers. It is also known as the digital age, computer age, and the new media age. This age made it a lot easier in workplace, in socialization, in businesses, and in education, allowing us to communicate our reports with just a click on the phone with internet access. I must say that scientists and everyone in the history paved the way. From fraud to the earliest civilization, the simplest way of living, and the practical ones, relying on manual inventions, all those led us to how we live in the present. And thus, I conclude na lahat ng ito ay patunay na walang katapusang pag-unlad ng ating kaalaman bilang mga tao. Let us not forget na ang siyensya at kaalaman ay hindi lamang para sa pag-unlad ng teknolohiya, kundi para na rin sa mas malalim na pag-unawa ng ating mga sarili. At kung paano natin maaaring gamitin ang mga ito upang makagawa ng mas makatarungan at balanseng desisyon sa ating mga buhay. Let us put in mind that with continuous study of science, we can learn and we can develop technologies that we can use for the betterment of today and for the benefits we can gain from it in the future. Again, I am Jean Irene Mariti Takata. Thank you for listening and for your patience. See you again!